What's up, guys? Rick here with your preview for this week's RSM Classic, but stop right now because there is a very big announcement. I am recording this on Monday, and as of Monday morning, the 2025 RickRunGood One and Done, also affectionately known as the Run and Done, has gone live. It is on Splash Sports. Again, we have used Splash. Well, we use them for our weekly Listener League contest. Use them for last year's One and Done. Use them for last year's NFL Survivor, the current Survivor, the current Pick 5, the touchdowns, everything, right? They've done such a good job. They bought up Run Your Pool. They bought up Office Football Pool. So all good things there. The One and Done has a guaranteed, I repeat, a guaranteed prize pool of $500,000. Unbelievable. This is the biggest one we've ever done. The growth of One and Dones has been insane. We used to do these and get a couple hundred people. Then we started getting a couple thousand people. And now this is the biggest we've ever done. $150 per entry for $500,000 of guaranteed purse. I wanted to keep it reasonable. I worked really hard with the Splash guys to find a payout structure that would work. So here it is. The top 10% of this pool are going to get paid. The minimum is that you will double your entry fee. So 150 turns into 300. That's what I wanted. That was one of the items that I really wanted, the at least being able to double your entry fee. First place, no matter how many people sign up, if 5 people sign up or if 3,000 people sign up, first place is going to be $50,000. Second place is 25 grand. Third is 10 grand. So there are 3 different payouts of 5 figures or more. Segments, 6 different segments where even if you're struggling for the season, you can win up to $5,000 in each segment 6 different times. So this is about $16,000 in each segment payout times 6. That's that portion. And then of course the overall payouts as well. So I really wanted to make this where you could be engaged throughout the entire year and also have doubling of your entry fee and also a big payout at the top. I believe we have accomplished all of that. I worked really hard to try to get these payouts to be fair, but great along the way. Now, with that, I had to make a couple of concessions, and they're small concessions. They are not big concessions whatsoever. The only thing is that this league starts at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. It does not start at the Sony Open. So there's just, I think, 2 or 3 events at the beginning of the year in which this does not include. So it goes from Pebble Beach, which is the first signature event. We are not missing any signature events until through the BMW Championship. So it is 28 events. That is how it works. We are not missing any of the signature events. We're obviously getting all the major championships, all the big events. It's incredible. They've done a really good job with this. I think I've done a really good job with this. Pat on my own back. You guys have done a really good job with this, because if it was not for filling, all the one and dones that we've done in the past, if it was not for constantly showing the Listener League getting filled every single week, we could not put something like this on. And of course, the goal is to continually grow this, right? If we can fill this quickly, well before the deadline, there's ammo for us to say, you know what, next year's $1 million or next year's $1.5 million or whatever that might be. So really proud of all of you guys, really proud of us in general. Go sign up for this right now. I understand that we are 6 weeks away, maybe even more than that, right? December 15th, January. Yeah, we're actually like 10 weeks away from this thing locking. But let me assure you, the faster we fill this, the better it is for us, right? We're going to get more guaranteed contests moving forward. We'll be able to have more say in what happens. So please go get your entries right now. Start putting a little bit of upwards pressure on this to fill. If you want to get in something that will start for this week, the tiers contest is also guaranteed for this week. So $3,000 in prizes, $600 for first place off a $20 entry, no matter how many people get in. This is already about, what is that? 30 out of 160. Oh gosh, trying to do math live, like a sixth of the way filled. And also, I ensured that only the top 5 out of your 6 golfers' scores will count. Like, listen, it's not on me, but I'll take the blame for this, right? This is on me. I think 2 out of the last 4 weeks, we did not drop, or Splash did not drop the worst score. I sent a scathing email, as scathing as I can get. It was honestly pretty nice, but I said, hey, listen, this cannot be happening. We've got to be consistent. We've told everyone that we are going to drop the worst score, and that's what we have to do. And I can see that it is in this contest as well, and they assured me it is not going to be a problem moving forward. So let's fill this one up very quickly. That way we can continue to grow these as well. So by the time we get into the thick of next year, we are having, listener leagues, weekly listener leagues with 1,000 or 2,000 people. We are having our one and done with 4,000 people. Then next year we've got, even bigger stuff. So a lot of great things on the horizon. I appreciate all of your support. I will now turn my attention to the RSM Classic and the courses for this week. All right, here is the course key stats model for the RSM Classic. Now, there are not one, but 2 golf courses in play this week. The Seaside course at Sea Island and the Plantation course at Sea Island. They will play 1 round each at both the Seaside and the Plantation course. The cut will be made, and then they will return to the Seaside course for all of the weekend rounds. So that means that the Seaside course is the host course. The Plantation course is what would you call that? The alternate course, the alternative course. It's not the host, it's the guest. It's the guest course, okay? So it's the guest course for this week. I was down there, was it last year or the year before? This is such a beautiful area. If you ever get the chance to go to this golf tournament, highly recommend. Yes, it's on an island, a little difficult to get in and out of, but it is gorgeous, really well-run golf tournament. Splendid time. Both of these courses are magnificent, and this is one of the best practice areas I've ever seen on the PGA Tour. Oh my goodness, is it great. Historically, the gap has gotten a little bit smaller, but historically the Seaside course is a little bit more difficult, and because of its name, Seaside, it is a bit more susceptible to wind and weather. We will look at this Wednesday live chat. I believe it's actually going to be 4 p.m. Eastern time this week, an hour later than our regular slot. We'll look at the weather. I did a quick early glance, and it looks like Thursday and Friday throughout both waves gonna be pretty similar. About 14, 15 mile an hour winds, similar temperatures, things like that. Doesn't look like there's going to be a huge wave or course advantage, but we'll keep an eye on that and we'll know by the time we get to the live chat. It's a par 70. The Seaside course is about a 7,200 square feet in terms of green size on average. That is larger than the PGA Tour average. The one thing that really stands out statistically, now this is not anecdotal, it is not anything, it is a pure correlation stat model that says what stats are most correlated to success. And the answer, the one that stands out, is driving accuracy. Now, I want to point something out here. It ranks 6th, which means there are only 5 other courses in which driving accuracy is more correlated to success than here at the Seaside course. Keep in mind, that is the rank. The value 0.155, which is the correlation value, is getting dangerously close to strokes gained approach for this week, 0.165. So remember, strokes gained approach by itself is almost always the most correlated stat to success at any golf course, 0.16, 0.22, so, something like that. It is always going to be a big chunk of the correlation. But because it's always the most correlated to success. It can't be the number one stat every single week. So that's why you look at the rank. So the rank is 44th out of 52, and it is driving accuracy that ranks best, even though the value is still less than that of strokes gained approach, even though they're getting, again, dangerously close this week. Driving distance is actually negatively correlated, which is always a fun one to see. Now, if you look at the other stats, what does this show? Well, distance from edge of fairway, very high in terms of rank. Left rough tendency, which is how frequently, or technically how infrequently, you hit it into the left rough, that is very highly correlated. Driving accuracy, very highly correlated. We already talked about that. And then right rough tendency, very highly correlated. So those are the top 4 stats. So we are talking about a accuracy, a precision over power stat model here, which we'll obviously run at the end of the show. We'll put it all into the custom model. Then you get approach putt performance, which is how much in feet, distance in feet, do you have left after your first putt? Now that is important because it also correlates to how frequently or infrequently a golfer 3 putts. And on larger greens, this stat tends to become more important because you don't want to 3 putt on larger greens. You are more susceptible to 3 putting. And then look at this one, putting from 7 feet. That's a very specific number. But what that says to me, so when I look at all of this, keep the ball in play off the tee, give yourself a chance to make birdie or easy pars, do not 3 putt, and the place that you can separate is that kind of 7 to 9 foot range. If you can make more of those than your peers, that's kind of the 50-50 mark, maybe 60-40 mark on the PGA Tour. If you can make more of those than your peers, that is where you separate. And again, this is not my anecdotes saying it. It's me interpreting the data that says that. So knowing all of that, who seems to fit this golf course best? This is course fit, not course history. Over the last 36 rounds for everybody in this field, Mackenzie Hughes gets the best adjusted fit, about a half a stroke per round based on those metrics ahead. Matt Wallace, he's been playing a lot on the DP World Tour. We are going to look at him here shortly. He gets the second best adjusted fit. Davis Thompson, Matt Kuchar, Patrick Fishburne round out the top 5. You're also going to have plenty of these conversations about, Seaside, what is it? God, not Sea Island Mafia. I almost called them the Seaside Mafia. The Sea Island guys, Sea Island Mafia, all these guys from Georgia. Yes, there's a ton of them. There are a lot of ties to the area. I will point them out if they come up. It is not end all be all, but something to keep in mind as we go through the rest of this. What I do also want to point out, so if you look at the off the tee numbers here, and I don't show this enough, I really should. These are average distances, the numbers of fairways hit, what the penalty is for missing the fairway versus what the reward is for hitting a long drive. And what you'll see is the penalty for missing a fairway is often in all but 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, par 4s and par 5s. Obviously, I took out the par 3s here. The penalty for missing the fairway is worse than the reward for hitting a longer than average drive. So that is why you see guys that play from the fairway, even if they are shorter than normal, they are having success here because this is the math. What is the stroke average if you play from the fairway? What is it if you miss the fairway? What is it if you are longer than average off the tee versus shorter than average? Well, I'm telling you, the numbers say missing the fairway is worse than the reward you get for hitting a long drive. That is not my opinion. Again, that is the stats. And then I actually did want to look at this because, I'm just trying to see where some of these birdie opportunities come from and why something like putting from 7 feet might show up on this list. You get slightly more than tour average birdie opportunities from 9 to 15 feet. You're actually slightly below from 4 to 8 feet. So maybe that's why, because you're getting fewer opportunities from that 4 to 8 foot range, and 4-footers, everybody's kind of making the same rate of them. 5-footers starts to separate you a little bit more. 6, 7, 8 starts to separate you even more. Because you're getting fewer of those opportunities, the guys that are taking advantage of those opportunities are the ones that are finding a statistical edge at this golf course. Interesting. Okay, well, listen, we'll look into that as we continue to go, but just kind of spitballing this with you. The salaries came out very late on Monday, so I'm kind of getting a first look at this with you at the same time. All right, let's go to the cheat sheet. All right, the cheat sheet, RickRunGood.com, and look at this name at the top of the board. It's Ludwig Åberg. It's a name we have not seen in quite some time. We have not seen him since the Tour Championship. He had surgery on his left knee to repair a torn meniscus. That is something that, honestly, it did impact his play over the course of the year. He of course, he finished T2 at the BMW Championship. But there were a couple of kind of bad events, the Open Championship, the FedEx St. Jude, the Tour Championship, and based on his own high standards, the year did not finish nearly as well as it started. Now, he is the defending champion here, so his game travels, he is long, he is straight off the tee, he is everything. I am probably not going to be investing the 11,200. This will be a little bit of subject to whatever he says in his presser on Tuesday. So on Wednesday at the live chat, we'll know what he has said on Tuesday's presser. He's scheduled for an afternoon press conference. And I want to see how long he's been going full throttle, how long he's been practicing. If it's only been 2 weeks, I'm a little bit nervous. If it's been longer than that, I don't know. I just kind of want to see what his comments are around how long he's been able to go, if he is going full speed, which is my assumption. We have not seen Davis Thompson, who is the second most expensive player here. He's $10,400, so he is $800 cheaper than Ludwig Åberg. We have not seen him since the Shriners Children's Open. He finished T5. If you have followed anything on this channel, you know that I love the way that he plays. He is one of the best kind of younger, maturing tee to green players that we have. He's going to get that Georgia boost, right? He is a St. Simons Island guy, despite the fact that his results here are pretty horrific. T53 last year, 3 consecutive missed cuts before that. So I believe that he has made pretty significant improvements since this point last year. So I have no problem going back to Davis Thompson if necessary. And then that leaves us with Denny McCarthy, who is here, the third man in the $10,000 range, has really struggled off the tee this summer and into the fall. The approach play has been kind of hit or miss, and the putter has been, it's been good, right? It hasn't been magnificent. He hasn't been the best putter in the world, which we've seen from him at times. If you look at his history around this place, he finished T5 last year. It's kind of a mixed bag. He's got 3 top 10s, and he's got like 3 or 4 finishes that I would say are not particularly good. There's a case to be made, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to make this case yet. I'll certainly know more on Wednesday about just avoiding this 10K range altogether. You've got a guy who is the most expensive in Ludwig Åberg, who's clearly the best player here, who we have not seen, and he is coming off of surgery. You have Davis Thompson, who we haven't seen in quite some time, and he does not have a very good history here. And then we have Denny McCarthy, who, again, we haven't seen since the BMW Championship 2 months ago. And last time we saw him, and historically, like the driving accuracy might end up being a problem around here. It is a mixed bag of results. So if you said, Rick, what I know as of right now on this Monday as I record this, I'm not going to play anybody in the 10K range, I wouldn't beat you up over that, or at least be underweight on those golfers. I think that is not a bad way to go about this. Multiple golf courses, anything with a course rotation does increase the volatility just because you've got guys literally playing on different playing fields. At the same time, there is going to be some inherent advantage or disadvantage to that just by nature, right? Usually. So it would not upset me if that's the route that you wanted to go. And if you do go that route, you are now firmly in this $9,000 range, which there are a bunch of really good options here. Brian Harman, we have not seen since the President's Cup, which is quite some time ago. He did not play particularly well at the President's Cup. Everybody is always going to want to say, oh, well, it's Brian Harman. He is from St. Simon's Island. He is going to play well at the RSM Classic because he's very accurate and he hits his wedges well and he putts well. Yeah. It hasn't really been the case. T2 in 2022, T4 in 2017, and that is it. Bunch of outside the top 30 finishes, couple of missed cuts in there. You'd think it would be better. What I saw at the President's Cup was not super inspiring, right? He lost 7 strokes from tee to green. They're a little bit wonky because it's match play, and I think he only played, I guess he played 3 sessions, right? He played with Homa in alt shot twice, I believe. And then of course he played in Sunday singles. Oh, I guess I have it here. Yeah. And just was pretty miserable in all 3 of those sessions. Now, like, Rick, where's the good stuff? Where's the good stuff? All right. The next 3, Siwoo Kim, JT Poston, Ben Griffin. Siwoo Kim, I love it. Just elite approach player. He drives it well when he's on. When he is on, it's gorgeous. When he is off, it's terrible, right? There's no surprise there, but this is really what I'm looking at. 4 out of his last 5 events, he has gained strokes with the putter. It does include the President's Cup. It also includes the European Tour event. It includes the Zozo Championship. So kind of all over the globe, all different formats, everything. He's picked up strokes putting in 4 of his last 5. There might not be another 5 tournament stretch in which Siwoo Kim in years has picked up 4 strokes has picked up strokes to the field in 4 of them. Look at this number right here. Distance from edge of fairway, 6th on the PGA Tour. Driving accuracy, 18th. Driving distance, 107. What do we know? Statistically, you don't need to be long, but you do need to be accurate. We already talked about his ability to hit the second shots, and now he is figuring out the putter. So really good signs out of Siwoo Kim. His history here, not good. You're seeing a lot of that, right? Just guys that don't have a ton of great history, at least ones that are coming in that we might be excited about, that might be playing well. I believe that stops here with JT Poston, and I'll start with his course history. Again, another St. Simon's Island guy. He's got to have some good. Wow, he doesn't really either. T44, T21, 2 missed cuts. T14, 3 missed cuts. Yikes! These St. Simon's Island guys not going so well. Luckily, we were able to benefit from. I was pretty heavily exposed to JT Poston at TPC Summerlin. It just kind of looked like, hey, if he's able to get right after a long break, he had a 2-month break from the BMW Championship. If he's able to get right, this should be a really good golf course for him. Why don't we go back to him? If we use that JT Poston kind of mentality, which is like, hey, maybe he's not playing well, but this should be a really good golf course for him. I think Denny McCarthy fits into that mold, right? Denny McCarthy, longer term, this might be a better golf course for him than what he's doing as of late. So if you want to follow that, guys that have been on a bit of a break, Denny McCarthy seems to be a viable option in that realm. And then Ben Griffin has played nearly more rounds on the PGA Tour this year than anybody. I think he has teed it up in 2024. I was just looking this up, something like 35 times, just something outrageous. Doesn't seem to be much fatigue going on. Because you look at the fall, right? The fall. So he's played 6 events in the fall. Since the Black Desert, he went T11, missed cut, T22, T24, 8th last week, a very well-rounded 8th place finish last week at the Bermuda Championship. So that's a really good sign. I think and remember, he even missed, I guess he didn't miss a ton of time, but he did miss some time because he had that eye surgery at one point. I can't remember exactly when that was, but he's been able to just figure out a way to get things in order and get his game headed in the right direction. I don't think he drives it well enough for me to be super excited about him, but I do think I am excited. T8 here last year, T29 the year before, playing some of the best golf that we've seen in the fall. I mean, if we go to, I don't know what this is going to show, but let's go to the power rankings. Let's go to let's do last 20 rounds. I guess this is a little nitpicky. Last 20 rounds. I'm just trying to get like recent fall stuff. And I want to see where Ben Griffin, he's 14th. He's 14th in this field, 1.14 strokes gained per round, $9,300. I don't think it's a great course fit for him, but the course history has been really good. The guy who is probably, actually, I want to do this real quick. So there's two. The bottom of this range here, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to favorite them so I don't forget. Seamus Power and Matt Wallace. People were worried to go back to Seamus Power after the miscut at the Shriners. We knew that was not a problem, and what we saw at the Zozo was great. Finished T23 in Bermuda, so now we're getting a really good summer to fall. I mean, everything since the US Open has been awesome, except for his home game at TPC Summerlin, which he always stinks at, which I've said 10,000 times. So Seamus Power, what's his history here? Yeah, T5, T4 in his last two trips. That wasn't last year. It was 2022 and 2021. He played here in 2019, gained 3.3 strokes from tee to green that week. So he has now gained at least 3 strokes from tee to green in 3 straight trips here. And again, that's only going to be 3 measured rounds, or in the case of this missed cut in 2019, that's only 1 measured round. Usually there is just shot link at the Seaside course. There is not shot link at the Plantation course. So I'm thinking the bottom of this 9K range, Seamus Power and Matt Wallace. Yeah. So a couple of items here. Go to the power rankings. Matt Wallace over the last 20 rounds is the 7th best player in this field. If you go back to the course key stats model, Matt Wallace had the 2nd best adjusted course fit out of anybody. He has been playing a ton and almost exclusively on the DP World Tour, and he has played awesome golf. Okay. Here's a really good ad for RickRunGood.com, because if you are only looking at Matt Wallace's PGA Tour numbers, you are missing 9 events, his last 9. He has not stopped playing golf since the Wyndham Championship. He did not make the playoffs last year. Eighth place finish at the British Masters. He won the European Masters. He finished 3rd at the Abu Dhabi Championship. And then he played extremely well at the DP World Tour Championship last week, amongst a bunch of other decent results here. If you look at his metrics, drives it well. The second shots are coming together. The putter, this is his the worst part about his game, but he lost 4.5 strokes putting in Abu Dhabi 2 weeks ago and still finished T3. That's how good the rest of his game is. So if we can find a little bit of a warm putter, like we've seen plenty this fall, I think Matt Wallace could win this golf tournament, and he is being priced at $9,000. I want to see what his history is here. I honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know. Hasn't played here since 2022, missed the cut, 67th in 2021, 37th in 2020. So he hasn't played here in a couple of years. Nothing to write home about. But the stuff that we've got recently is really good for Matt Wallace. All right, the 8K range. Yeah, here's where you get hot guys, kind of seaside specialists, all that stuff. Harris English and Mackenzie Hughes are $8,900 and $8,800. We've talked about Harris English a lot, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. Playing really well, coming in 3 straight top 15 finishes. I again think he's healthy. When he's healthy, he's one of the best players in this field. Mackenzie Hughes really kind of burned everybody a little bit in Bermuda. He finished T67 there, has finished runner-up at this event in 2 of his last 3 trips. I want to see what the industry is going to do with this range here. And then the same goes for Eric Cole. Eric Cole is $8,700. He's coming off a T6 finish. He is not accurate off the tee. In fact, he's both inaccurate and short, which is going to be a problem, but he is flashing a little bit. T7 at the Wyndham, T16 at the Sanderson Farms, T6 at the Zozo. It's not that every week consistently good stuff that we got from Eric Cole during his rookie year, but it is at least some popping. And if he's like 7 or 8%, 9% in projected ownership, he's going to be ending up being pretty valuable. Austin Eckroat, spent a lot of time talking about him last week, 2 weeks ago, but he goes out and he gets the win at the WWT championship. And now he is going to Seaside, where he finished T8 last year and did it in a very strong way, at least for the 3 measured rounds that we've got. He also had a little bit of a break. I shouldn't say that. He had the break from the BMW Championship to the Shriners. That was about 2 months, and then 3 weeks between Shriners and Cabo. So he's well rested. He's kind of back to that baseline that I think of with Austin Eckroat. I want to do this real quick. Let's go to power rankings for last 36. That is generally the most predictive. We'll go just rounds played on the PGA Tour. Get some of these senior tour guys out of here. Let's see what pops up. Fishburne 1. Okay. Davis Thompson 2. Clanton 3. Not sure this is the greatest spot for Luke Clanton, but he's here. He's back. This is what I thought we might get. The two guys at the bottom of the 8K range, JJ Spawn is $8,400 and Andrew Novak is $8,100. JJ Spawn is having one of the best falls out of anybody, and he is doing it in a really sustainable manner. Great tee to green play, decent putting. His skill set of being able to find fairways and then turn into a pretty good second shot player is perfect for this golf course. And not only does the fit match up, but the history does as well. 3 straight top 16 finishes. He had a runner-up finish here back in 2017. He has missed the cut once in those 8 trips. It's been really, really good. So he is there. And then Andrew Novak, who looks like he's trending in the right direction to me. He missed the cut at the Shriners on the number, goes to Zozo, finishes T16, picking up 7.8 strokes from tee to green, and then finishes runner-up last week. And honestly, probably, I don't say he should have won that event, but he could have won that event. So we're getting a really good price on both JJ Spawn and Andrew Novak, who have been some of the better golfers on the PGA Tour as of late. And this is a pretty good setup for him. We're not even close to done. I think that Eckroat is underpriced. I think that Novak is underpriced. I think that JJ Spawn is underpriced. And I think the guy that might be the most mispriced guy on the slate is Matt McCarty. $7,800. $7,800. He is cheaper than Adam Svensson, Sepp Straka, Keith Mitchell. Matt McCarty won 2 starts ago. Matt McCarty won 6 starts ago. Matt McCarty won 8 starts ago. Matt McCarty won 11 starts ago. Any other questions? He misses the cut at TPC Summerlin the week after his first PGA Tour win. We see that routinely. It has been a month for him to get back, kind of get everything all figured out. If you look at, oh gosh, there's probably a couple ways I could do it. So just go to the power rankings. Last 36 rounds, Matt McCarty is, he probably doesn't even have enough. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to put his Korn Ferry stuff in here too. He's not going to have enough PGA Tour rounds to qualify. There we go. I have to loop in his Korn Ferry Tour stuff. He's the best player in this field. 1.91 strokes gained per round across the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour, including not just one, but I think all 36 rounds or all 4 wins are within those last 36 rounds. He is $7,800. I don't know. Just feels very, very surprising to me. Feels a little bit off. I love this guy. Maybe I'm a little bit blinded by the way that his game sets up. I think that he has a lot of paths to the top of the board. $7,800. Yikes. That is, it's pretty surprising. Now, the other guys in this range, I think you can fill up on pretty well are Mark Hubbard. If you missed it, he ended up finishing T3 last week. This is another good course for him in which accuracy should prevail over distance. And he's got a couple of decent starts here in a row. I'd call it 3 good ones in a row. 2 definitely really good. T14 at the Shriners, T3 in Bermuda, and then just slightly below average at the Zozo Championship. Jacob Bridgman, who quietly is putting together 5 consecutive starts that I would call positive. 3 of them are top 15 finishes. 4 of them are top 30 finishes. The other thing is Joe Highsmith is back in this field. So Joe Highsmith was one of the hottest players on the PGA Tour, goes T13, T55, T6, T16, 5th, and then WD's last week before that tournament even starts. He WD'd like on Monday. Gets a little extra rest, and there's no reason to think this is going to stop. The thing to keep an eye on is the putter. That is what has unlocked epic gains for Joe Highsmith. He is $7,400. I believe I called him incredibly mispriced at $7,400 in Cabo. He finished 5th. He is the same price after the 5th place finish. What are we doing? I think there's some really, really valuable golfers Here, Grayson Sigg's another one. Grayson Sigg, I bet to win last week because of how well he's been playing. He got the reset after the fall. He gets this reset. He's got 4 top 23 finishes in his last 5 starts, including a T9 in Bermuda. I think he's cheaper now, $7,300. Yeah, you're getting a little bit of a deeper field, but a lot of the guys are, ones that haven't played a whole lot. We haven't seen much out of. Like, what are we doing? I mean, am I just playing all the same guys? Am I playing Wesley Bryan at $7,200? He continues to play well. The good news is our cores have been pretty solid that I don't think we need to get too crazy about who we end up playing here. Patton Kizzire. I got an email from Chris. Chris, who watches these videos. Thank you, Chris. He sent me a reminder. He put it in his calendar. It said, remind Rick of Patton Kizzire at the RSM, which I do not remember when I said that, but I hope I said it before the win. I don't know, but he wins the Pro Core, picks up 8 strokes from tee to green there. It has not been as good as of late. He's missed his last 2 cuts. I want to look at his history here at the RSM Classic. Yeah, a bunch of cuts made, 1 top 10, nothing too crazy. I did want to point this out though, because I think this is a pretty good spot for him, and I've clearly thought that for at least a couple of weeks. Who knows? It could have been a couple of months, depending on when I said that and when Chris put that into his calendar. The 6K range. Well, Lonto Griffin, now healthy, seems to be playing some pretty solid golf. He is coming off of a T12. He is $6,900. You can see almost always drives it well. We've got to get the putter figured out, and he's got to get a little bit tighter around the greens, but I expect he'll be able to hit a lot of greens in regulation thanks to the fact that he's picked up like 8 strokes on approach over his last 4 measured starts. That doesn't even include the T12 at the Bermuda Championship. Also, these are larger than average greens, so I'm hoping he does not have to chip or pitch as frequently. This week, he is in this range, and I think that he is very viable. There was someone else here. Let me just make sure I'm not missing him before it's Richie Werenski. So Werenski got in. Did he Monday Q last week? I can't remember. But remember, he's been playing a lot on the Korn Ferry Tour. Did you see the way Bermuda went for him? He was like 7 shots off the cut line after his Thursday round. Got hot on Friday, got hot on Saturday. I think he struggled a little bit on Sunday, but that's the upside that I love. That's the grind that you kind of get from him, trying to, improve his status, get that PGA Tour card. He's $6,500. That's a really good price. I thought there was one other guy in the middle. Oh, I owe whoever suggested ADDC, Adrian Dumont de Chassé, an apology. I don't know him an apology because like that guy probably played him, but I looked at that profile and I still look at that profile and say there is no chance a good finish is coming. He finished T3 last week. So congrats if you were able to get some access to ADDC. I'm going to sort this by strokes gained total. Click on Kevin Chappell's name and see what he's been up to. Because he is the second best player in this field in this range after Stuart Sink. Stuart Sink beats up on a lot of the Champions Tour guys. These are a lot of finishes. High end 12th, kind of like between 12th and 47th or so. Not super exciting, but you could definitely do a lot worse. He's played here a lot. Last 5 years have not gone well. 4 missed cuts and a 65th, although that dates back to 2016. So not a lot of great history here. Let's go to the model. So what we're going to do for the model is we are going to do, kind of want to keep it pretty short term, right? We're going to do strokes gained total last 20 for 20. Then we're going to do driving accuracy for 25. Strokes gained approach last 36 for 20. What does that leave us with? 6. That leaves us with 35. Putting. We're going to do putts inside of 10 feet for 15. I'm going to put 5 on approach putt performance. Remember, that was one of the correlated stats, right? Then we are going to do course history. We could do 15 on course history. Is that too much? Let's do it. My number one golfer. Wow, it's a tie. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Two guys scored exactly 87.87. JJ Spawn, no surprise. Matt Kuchar. Yeah. Matt Kuchar gets a good bump in everything. Approach play in the last 36, he's 9th. Strokes gained total. Last 20, he's 11th. No surprise there. Ben Griffin. Yep. Okay. 3rd. Andrew Putnam. Lucas Glover. Oh, he was awesome except for that Friday, or excuse me, except for that Sunday round, that final round. And then he is just a miserable putter inside of 10 feet. So that's going to be the issue. Austin Eckroat, Doug Gim, Grayson Sigg, Brian Harmon, Nico Echeverria is my top 10. I have Ludwig 22nd here. Wow. That is very fascinating. Yeah, I think Eckroat and Grayson Sigg are super live. JJ Spawn is super live. He's been really good. Okay, well, listen, we'll put a pin in this. We'll get back after it on Wednesday. Make sure you're signed up for my newsletter. It's 100% free. Link is in the description. Go sign up for the Splash contest. The one and done link will be in the description. But other than that, yeah, wishing you guys the best of luck. Chat soon.